I didn't plan to tell this story because, even now, I still check my hallway before I sleep. The strange part is, nothing ever officially happened. No arrest, no crime scene tape, no breaking news alert. Just a man who moved onto our street and slowly made sure none of us felt alone ever again. If you're listening late at night, you might want a light on. I'm serious. And before I get into it, if true stories like this are your thing, you can subscribe now so you don't miss the next one. I upload whenever I find something I honestly wish I hadn't experienced. We lived in a quiet suburban neighborhood outside Columbus, Ohio. The kind of place where Amazon drivers wave, kids ride bikes in circles, and every lawn looks like it belongs in a home insurance commercial. No sidewalks on our street, just asphalt, mailboxes, and open yards flowing into each other. Everyone knew everyone, but not in a nosy way. In a comfortable way. My wife Jenna and I had been there 3 years. Same routines, every day. Morning coffee on the porch. I'd leave for work around 7:40. She worked remote. Evenings were calm, dog walk, dinner, Netflix, bed by 11. Predictable life. Good life. Then the yellow house at the end of the cul-de-sac sold. We didn't notice the moving truck arrive. We noticed him. He was standing in the road at dusk, just looking at houses. Not walking, not unloading boxers, not talking on a phone. Just standing in the center of the street, like he forgot what he came outside for. I slowed my car because he wasn't moving. He didn't turn toward the headlights either, just kept staring down our block. I rolled down the window and gave the polite "you good" nod to people. He smiled too quickly. Wide. Immediate. Like he'd been waiting for acknowledgement. He stepped aside, still watching my car as I drove past. I checked the mirror longer than I should have. He was still smiling, even after I turned into my driveway. I told Jenna about it casually. We laughed it off. New neighbor? Socially awkward? Whatever. People stand outside sometimes. The next morning he was in the same place. Not similar. Same spot. Facing our house this time. He waved before I even reached the mailbox. A big exaggerated wave. Like we were lifelong friends, greeting across a football field. I waved back because ignoring someone feels rude when they clearly recognize you. That was mistake number 1. After that, he waved every day. Morning and evening. Always the same big smile. Same still posture. He never held anything. No phone, coffee, cigarette, nothing. Just hands at his sides until he saw us. Jenna noticed he only waved when we came out, not when other neighbors passed. We tested it. Saturday morning, we stayed inside longer than usual and watched through the blinds. The Jagger went by. He didn't react. Mrs. Parker walked her dog, nothing. Then Jenna stepped onto the porch. Immediate wave. The speed of it made her step back inside. We laughed, but it lingered. A few days later, he introduced himself. I was getting the mail when he appeared beside me without hearing footsteps on the asphalt. He said, "Hi, neighbor." Already smiling. Up close, something felt off. Not dangerous, just intense. His eyes stayed open a little too long between blinks, and he leaned forward slightly when he spoke. Like every word mattered more than normal conversation. He said his name was Daniel. Recently moved from Michigan. Lived alone. Worked nights sometimes. I asked what he did. The usual small talk. He said, "I watch things. I assumed security guard or monitoring cameras." I said that. He nodded but didn't confirm. Then he asked what time we usually went to bed. I thought he meant neighborhood noise or trash pickup courtesy. So I answered honestly. He smiled again. Wider than before. "Good to know," he said. That was the first time I felt a real warning in my stomach. After that, the waving stopped, feeling friendly. It felt scheduled. If I left earlier than normal, he wasn't outside yet. But minutes later, Jenna would text me that he'd appeared in the road after I drove off. If we came home late, his porch light flicked on as the car turned onto our street. Not motion sensor timing. Anticipation timing. One night around 11:30, we heard slow footsteps on gravel near our bedroom window. Our dog didn't bark, just low growled, which he only did when unsure. I pulled the curtain slightly. Daniel was standing in our yard. Not close to the house. Not far either. Just standing where lawn meets mulch, looking at the side of our home. I opened the window and said, "Hey man." He looked up instantly, smiling like he expected me. "Oh, good," he said. "You're awake later tonight?" I asked what he was doing. He said he thought he heard something near our air conditioning unit and wanted to check. I thanked him and told him we'd handle it. He stayed there a moment too long before leaving. Jenna asked if we should call police. I said no. No actual wrongdoing. Just weirdness. That was mistake number 2. Over the next week, little things happened. Our trash cans repositioned. Gate unlocked. Once our garage door, which we always closed, was 3 inches open in the morning. No proof it was him. Just a feeling. Then came the balloons. One morning there was a red balloon tied to our mailbox. No. We assumed kids. Took it down. Next day, another balloon. Same color. Same knot style. Jenna checked neighborhood Facebook. Nobody claimed it. Third day, balloon tied lower, almost at eye level. That night, our doorbell rang at 2:14 a.m. I checked the camera app. Daniel stood on the porch holding a balloon string, smiling into the lens. He didn't knock again, just waited. I spoke through the intercom, asking what he needed. His sighed softly, "You forgot today's." I stayed at the door for a while after he walked away, still looking at the balloon on the doormat. Neither of us went back to sleep. The house felt different after that, like someone had learned too much about us. I told him it was the middle of the night. He nodded slowly. "I know your schedule changed. We didn't open the door." He stood there for almost 2 minutes, then placed the balloon on the doormat and left. We reported that one to police non-emergency. They said without threats or trespass or warnings, they couldn't do much. But they'd note the complaint. The officer suggested asking him directly to stop. So the next afternoon, I did. Primera wale kedober rehearsed calm words in my head, not accusatory. Neighborly, he opened his door before I knocked, like he'd been standing behind it. I told him the late-night visits made us uncomfortable. His smile didn't fade, but it tightened. He said, "I was making sure you weren't alone." I told him we didn't need that. He asked, "Are you sure?" The way he asked didn't feel like concern. It felt like disagreement. After that, the balloons stopped, but the watching didn't. He began sitting on his porch for hours, facing our house. Not reading, not on phone, just looking. Occasionally he'd mimic small actions. If Jenna watered plants, he'd spray his empty driveway. If I stretched before jogging, he'd mirror the movement seconds later. We started closing blinds earlier. Then he started appearing closer, not entering property, but close enough that the boundary felt symbolic. One evening we hosted friends for dinner. As we laughed on the patio, our friend Mark paused mid-sentence and asked, "Who's that?" Daniel stood at the edge of our yard, smiling at the group. No greeting, just watching. I walked over and asked if he needed something. He said, "Just making sure you're safe with strangers." Everyone went quiet. I told him they were friends. He nodded, disappointed, and walked away. After that night, Jenna couldn't relax in the house anymore. Every room felt visible. We installed additional cameras. 2 days later, he waved directly into each one during his walks. Not accidental glances. Intentional acknowledgement. Then, the realization moment happened. I came home early from work around 2 p.m. because of a power outage at the office. I didn't text Jenna yet. I wanted to surprise her. With lunch, as I pulled into the driveway, Daniel was at our front door, not knocking. Listening. His head leaned near the wood like he was hearing through it. He didn't hear my car. I stepped out and said his name. He turned slowly, not startled. Almost relieved. He said, "You weren't supposed to be home yet." Every instinct told me this crossed into something real. I told him firmly to stay off our property or I'd call police. For the first time, the smile dropped. Not angry. Empty, he said quietly. Let's get to what's matter. Then he walked away. We filed a formal trespass warning. Officers spoke to him. He nodded. cooperative, calm. For 3 days, nothing happened. Those were the worst days, because silence felt like planning. On the fourth night, around 1 a.m., our power went out. Entire street dark. Phone alerts showed our breaker wasn't tripped. Backup battery kept cameras running for an hour. I checked live feed. He was standing across the street in darkness, staring directly at our bedroom window. No flashlight, no movement, just waiting. Police arrived quickly this time. They questioned him, but again, no direct crime witnessed. But after that, he moved. No goodbye. House empty within 2 days. We thought relief would come instantly. It did. For weeks, we still woke, expecting footsteps, still checked cameras, still avoided certain rooms at night, because the scariest part wasn't what he did, it was how well he knew when to do it. He never threatened, never broke in, never shouted. He just slowly removed the feeling of privacy from our lives. And sometimes, late at night, a car passes slowly down our new street. Different town now, and my body reacts before my brain does. I still look for a man standing perfectly still, smiling like he's been expecting me. If you've ever had a neighbor who crossed invisible lines instead of obvious ones, you know how hard it is to explain to anyone else why it feels dangerous. Share your experience in the comments. I read them. And honestly, it helps knowing other people noticed the same kinds of details. And if this story stuck with you, you can share it with someone who lives alone, because sometimes the worst fear isn't being chased. It's being watched until you change your life.